Timothy Otieno was at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Timothy joins us by phone. So, Timothy, Koffi Olomide has been deported. So what's the fate of that concert that he was to hold tonight?
Well, as it stands, Michelle, it appears that that concert will not be taking place. Of course, we have been made aware that he has since been deported and his visa has been revoked as the cabinet secretary had requested. But of course, we were just from a press conference with Koffi Olomide's lawyers, and he tells us that indeed his client is not a happy man and has gone back to his country, a very disgruntled individual. But of course, to highlight exactly the status of the situation, we are now joined by George Wajackoyah, who is the lawyer representing Koffi Olomide in the country. Thank you so much for joining the program, sir. Maybe if you could begin by telling us, has it been confirmed that Koffi indeed has been deported?
Yes, it has been confirmed by the Kenya Airways ticketing counter that the government bought tickets for the 4 of them and they already put him on the plane.
So as it stands, your client has expressed his innocence. Maybe you did see him in the morning here at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport police station. What did he say to you? How was his mood? What was his mindset like?
I received a call this morning, and Koffi Olomide is a very familiar face to me because I've done contracts way back in London through his promoter when he was coming to perform in England. What he told me is that he was ready to be taken to court to prove his innocence. He did tell me that when he arrived, there was a press conference that he was addressing, and during that particular time, there was a commotion at his back. So it was brought to his attention that 2 of his dancers, not his wife, 2 of his dancing troupe ladies were fighting. So he went in to intervene to find out what was happening. And that's when he pushed them aside to drive them away from the media. And he denied that he kicked any of them. He said that he moved, and probably that when he swung his leg, that ought to have been his emotions to defray what was going on. But he actually did not hit the lady. The lady herself has also denied, saying that she was not actually hit, but she was quarreling with the other lady.
Well, but of course, this is something that has video evidence in it, and everybody saw what happened. Everybody will be the judge of that. But as it stands, you did tell us earlier on during the press conference that he has been deported without his passports and that his visa has been revoked. Is this true? And if so, what next for you as a legal team?
First of all, I do not know whether his visa has been revoked or not. What I know is that he had left his passport in the hotel. And I had actually called for the passports anticipating to ask for a cash bail because the offense that he is allegedly said to have committed was not demonstrated to us because there was no complainant and there was no facts before us, there was no charge sheet, and we thought it was a trivial issue that was going to be resolved given the magnitude of the personality or persona that this man is. And when the government decided to snatch him from me in the presence of the ambassador, which was so much shameful for a modern police force in this country, for the JKIA airport to come in with arbitrary orders from above, from heaven, reminding us of the old rotten constitution where people used to do things as they pleased to the whims of their masters. That was very wrong, and I'm asking the Secretary of State if he made that decision. Mr. Nkaiseri, I know you personally, if you made that decision, then carry it verbum salabawako, because you as a minister ought to be in a better position to get facts, and where facts are not being stitched together, then the person must be taken to court, not to act contrary to Article 47 of the Constitution, which calls for fairness for a person to be given a right to be heard in the front of the courts, for the courts to decide. In this case, we have had an arresting officer who is the judge himself, who actually has invoked punishment and has actually carried the mandate. What kind of democracy do we live in today? We as lawyers, and I in particular, am very, very bitter about what has happened. Even if it happened, as it's being alleged, then where is the investigation? Why do we have to put 3 women in cells who had not committed crime? If one of them is alleged to have been beaten, then why not make her the complainant, take a statement from her, and call her as a state prosecution? Why put all of them in jail? And those who are fighting for gender, why have what we call derivative gender, fighting on one side for gender and leaving the other side? Why can those women who are fighting for a woman having been beaten also fight for the women who are put in cells and locked up, their rights being violated, their privacy being violated? Is this the Kenya we want? Hell no. That is an injustice.
Mr. George, you had expressed your concern that your client, Koffi Olomide, had been tried in the public court of justice and that social media had been the vehicle used to prosecute Mr. Olomide. And in regards to that, he has a lot of fans. He's a man who has 20 albums under his name. And there's a concert that he was scheduled to perform for the third time in the country. It appears that will not happen. Any plans for perhaps refund for those who paid, or what happens? Will the event go on? Will it be cancelled? Well, just give us the status updates in regards to his agenda when he came into the country.
I think that's a tall order for me. It's actually up to the promoters who had a contract with whoever paid the money to answer that question. I'm only doing the legal part of it, but not the commercial part of it.
Perhaps final question. Will you be pursuing perhaps any charges against the state over this arrest?
Well, all that I'm waiting for is to speak to my client, and if he wants us to pursue, yes, we shall. If he wants us to follow it through the diplomatic means, yes, we shall. If he wants us to go to the highest courts in the world, yes, we shall. Because justice ought to be seen, and it also ought to be done. Equity demands justice and fairness.
Thank you very much, George Wajackoyah, who is the lawyer representing Koffi Olomide in this matter. Of course, he did allude to the fact that 3 women had been arrested alongside Koffi Olomide last evening. If I could just quickly go through their names. One of them is Pamela Eyanga, as well as Sarah Lisono and Irene Botongo. Now, Pamela Eyanga is the lady believed to have been kicked by Koffi Olomide, but of course, hours after that incident took place yesterday in the morning, of course, hours later, Koffi Olomide himself, through a Facebook video in his hotel room, did decline the incident, of course, appearing with the said lady who also said that she had not been kicked and there was no altercation as it stands, Akisa.